Hello, and welcome to Glitch Please. That's the show that you're watching. It's with a slightly different cast today. Welcome them. They are...
I'm Kdin.
I am Adam.
I'm Ben.
I'm Ryan. Ashley's still gone. She's in the Upside Down world for a while. I think she's back next week. I don't know. Hey, guys.
Hey, Ryan.
What you been playing?
Stranger Things 2.
That's not a game. What the hell are you drinking out of?
Technically is a game.
Did you kill a unicorn to get a cup?
Did.
It's a pretty good mug.
You know everything you drink from it is cursed.
I actually have no idea whose this is. I just saw it in the kitchen and I said I need it and I must have it.
So you just stole a
put bunch of coffee
unicorn.
in it.
You know, there's a thing in this office where people put mugs in the everyone mug area and then get like testy when you use them.
Well, it's mine now.
They're for everyone if you put them in that
Gotta
area.
put a label on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like what the great scholar Beyonce once said, put a ring on it.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
You nailed that.
She did sing that
Solid.
song, right?
Yeah,
Okay, good. I was
you are
making
correct.
sure. Aside from Stranger Things, what you guys been playing?
I've been playing the Animal Crossing like iPhone game.
Really?
Okay, no one
yeah.
wants to talk to you.
It's super
Did
fun.
you do the region thing?
Yes, I
together?
did.
Okay.
I have not linked my Nintendo account out of fear that it might like lock me out. And it's like I think like there was an update that allowed you to like add your Nintendo account without being in that proper region because I know the initial one, but apparently updating it like breaks some stuff. So I'm using the vanilla one, and for all intents and purposes, it's Animal Crossing with some timers. And
Let
that's it.
me ask you this.
Go for it.
Why, in this land of amazing games that are now out, you're playing an iPhone give us money game?
I already
she
beat
likes that
Odyssey.
game.
I already beat Odyssey.
Well, did you beat it or did you beat it?
Well,
What the hell does that mean?
You can beat the story. It's a Mario game.
Is it another game with domestic abuse? Because that seems to be a running theme right now.
It's a Mario game where you beat the story and there's still.
Does Mario go home and take out his
We'll
problems
talk more about
on
Mario
beach?
later.
We'll get there.
What have you been playing?
Man, I am prepping myself for all the DLC that is coming out in the next few months. So Horizon Zero Dawn, because that DLC drops in like a week.
What do you think of that trailer?
I mean, it looks like Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yep, they
Yeah.
showed
Yep.
you absolutely nothing
Yeah, they
interesting
didn't-
about the game.
they
Like,
didn't do anything.
Hey, remember we still got robots, and that was it. Like,
Yeah. I'll drop into it.
Yeah, now we're in a world where giant robot dinosaurs are not impressive. Come on, dude.
Look, it's great. I love it. But now as you go through the game, you kind of pull back the mystique on the giant robot dinosaurs a little bit, and you're like, I get why
but
they're
look,
here.
this
But
is these are snowy giant robot dinosaurs.
that doesn't make it better. That just makes their electronics more efficient, but prone to condensation.
Well, it's 2017. There's so many things
Fair.
to do. You can kill Nazis. You can fight giant dinosaur robots.
Excuse me, not Nazis. We don't want to call them Nazis because people get offended by that.
Is that not what they are?
Kill Nazis.
Not if you're in Germany, they're not actually.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What do they call them?
Well, they're not allowed to kill Nazis in Germany.
Well, obvious. Yeah, that's the you're not allowed to have the Nazi imagery
Okay.
or anything. Like, what do they do though?
The logo's different. I know that.
Is it like the it's the
way less
triangle
Funhouse.
triangle spiral thing?
It's something like that.
I've heard they drastically changed like a few things. I don't know what they did. I haven't looked into it at all. But
in the American version of the game, it's Nazis, right?
Oh yeah, there's.
Oh yeah.
There's
oh, yeah.
absolutely
I have
Nazis.
briefly
Double ultra Nazis.
dabbled in Wolfenstein 2 and Assassin's Creed Origins, and then I kind of started playing Resident Evil 7 again, just to kind of get a feel for how that game plays again. Because like when you go back to a game, you're like, I don't remember any of this. But yeah, like that DLC drops as well in about a month, so I'm kind of just like future-proofing myself for when that drops. But yeah, that's about it for what I'm playing. What about
All
you?
right.
And what are
So,
you playing,
Lame
Ryan?
game.
Oh, come on!
DLC prep.
It's
Animal Crossing.
Animal Crossing.
You're a
Everybody loves
hater,
Animal Crossing.
man.
No one.
Oh
No, lots of people.
Lots of people love Animal Crossing. You're
called-
just gonna make the comments angry,
They're
right?
called casual
Look,
gamers.
It's that no one plays Stardew Valley and no one plays Animal Crossing, right?
Oh, okay. I'm also playing Golf Story still.
Game's
Okay.
great.
It's so good.
Yeah. I need to get more
I
into
still
it.
haven't tried that one yet.
It's really fun and it's really weird when you say it's a golf RPG.
Yeah.
They're using it's really like they're using golf as like their storytelling mechanism, but it's not. It's like you're not just playing golf.
Right.
Like,
There's
in the
more to it
hours,
than that.
In the hours I've played one competitive round of golf, and the rest have been like try to hit this bird out of a tree or something like that.
You like Tanya Harding your competitors or what?
What does that mean?
You break their.
Don't remember Tanya Harding?
You break their ankles.
I am also missing that reference. So I'm with you.
listen,
Really?
How old are you people?
That happened in
27.
like 1990,
I don't know.
2000.
It's still like a part of history.
I just don't listen, man. I was 10,
So,
How old are you?
20.
it's, Fine. Do you spend the rest of your time going after competitors and taking their knees out?
No. I mean,
Well, then I don't want to
You
play.
can actually walk around and you have a ball,
And you can throw it at
Drop
people.
at any point.
and there's you can throw a ball at any.
Oh yeah. You can also
Anyway.
throw frisbees at people too. At one point, you get a frisbee and you can play. What is it? Disc golf?
What is the game here?
RPG golf.
The
It's
game is
RPG
like you.
No, he said there's only one game of golf so far. So there's
No,
more.
he's only played one game of golf.
That means
there
it's
is
not
competitive
RPG golf. It means
No,
it's
you're
RPG.
using golf as the mechanism to like
Occasionally
So
golf.
it's like you'll walk around and people be like, if you want to impress me, you gotta hit these. You gotta hit only in the rough and still make it to
Yep.
the hole. Or it's like, oh, you have to hit these targets. It's like you're not just playing golf, but your goal is to become the best golfer. So all these things feed into that.
When do you start taking lots of Ambien and crash your SUV into a car?
Probably post game.
Okay, good. As long as we get to that eventually.
I actually wouldn't be surprised if that happened in that game.
It's really messed up.
What have you been playing aside from PUBG? Because I don't want to talk about that.
No, it's fine. We won't talk about PUBG, even though I did get a chicken dinner last night. I've been still trying to finish Shadow of War, and I'm having a problem where the frame rate on the PC version goes to absolute shit in the last act of that game.
A PC port with bad frame rate?
I know, it's shocking, but even on like completely potato settings, it is
Really?
running very badly. I have a 1080 Ti at home and a 1080
Yeah,
here.
your rig is really nice.
There is
so
no excuse for it to be running like that. Drivers are updated, everything.
it's got to be an in-engine thing then, right?
Something is wrong with it. Even its main fix for that is you can turn on dynamic resolution, which just means that it's going to make it look extra potato. When
Yeah, no, I hate dynamic resolution.
it's terrible, and it doesn't fix it. It's still awful, and it's weird. Like something it'll flip to like a tight shot on something, and it's like, oh, it's great. They're all back, and then you go back to trying to fight, and it's just like.
So I met a lot of
That's
PC.
bizarre, dude.
It's Play Anywhere, so I mean, I'm really thinking I just need to
Swap to Xbox?
go back to the Xbox, but I don't want to. But
See, I haven't played a game on PC in a while, and then I got into The Evil Within 2, and I was actually just messing around with the settings, and it was having not played a PC game, like an actual PC game, not like point-and-click adventure, something that's like really low-res, minimalistic, like a AAA title. And I played it, and I didn't realize that is it mostly that you can have the overlay of like 60 frames per second and all that stuff, does it happen mostly in game now too? Because there's a setting in Evil Within 2 that's just like
A lot of
I
games,
literally
a lot
get
of
to-
games do not have.
No.
because
frame rate settings.
that was really nice because I'm playing on my laptop and it's a really nice, it's like 16 gigs of RAM and all that nice stuff. I got a really nice graphics card in it, and I could get it to go at 60 frames per second at 720, and it looked great. And all I need, and having that like little ticker up there, like showing me it's like, oh, there's a dipping, so I just need to adjust this, and I actually got to fine tune it in game without anything else, and I thought that was really nice.
a lot of them have benchmark settings where you can hit a benchmark and it'll do like a fly through and kind of try and display all of its graphical possibilities.
I like this game will be like, hey, this is going to impact your performance a lot, and it will help your frame rate a lot if you lower it. Or when it's like, this won't do much, don't bother changing it. But if you want a good overlay, MSI Afterburner or just the NVIDIA one is fine too. But those generally do help. And I think NVIDIA, I haven't used it in a long time.
What, like
since
Shadowplay?
Not Shadowplay, since the experience got crappy. But they did optimize games for a while, and for initially, like that worked okay. Like if you're just worried about getting perfect frame rate, but
I haven't tried that because I usually don't mess with that either. But again, I've turned down every setting to low. And the weird part is it's got a benchmark utility built into it. I hit the benchmark and I'm getting 100 frames per second through the entire benchmark.
There have been a lot of PC games lately that have like right out the gate have been having issues. Just like Assassin's Creed Origins has had that issue.
Assassin's Creed Origins with it's not, but it might have double DRM nonsense.
I've heard Shadows of War. I've heard even some with Evil Within 2. So I don't know.
It was interesting because I started looking around to see if there were people having this problem, and most people seem to be okay. So I don't know if there may just not be a lot of people playing it on the PC, or it could be something that is specific to the Play Anywhere version. Though Jeremy bought the Steam version originally. He'd been playing it. I think he's beaten it now, and he was having a lot of crazy issues, like textures not loading, just like people's heads would just not be there.
I'm when I played for the 7-8 hours I did play, I played in the Steam version with no problems, but it was also early on, so.
Early on, it ran great.
Yeah.
I didn't have issues until more recently.
So were you near post game, like end game?
I think so.
Have you noticed any grind yet?
I haven't felt like I'm grinding anything. Like I'm still getting gear whenever I want to. In most cases, I choose not to take the gear just to, because you usually have the option. You get gear by killing people.
Just want to keep moving.
Well, I capture them and make them, part of my army instead of killing them. So I've got all these guys working for me, and I might still get gear fairly regularly for people that I just happen to kill or time when it.
I heard there was
gives it
like
to you.
an orc level jump where it was just like you can end it's like near the pinnacle of like, all right, we're getting to the end of the game. Though the orcs that you have in your party would generally be like around 20 something, and then something jumps and then they're like 30 or 40.
I'm hitting the part where I'm starting to see 30s and 40s. Like I'm 35. My character level is 35 or 36. You can only capture up to your level.
Okay.
And I've been seeing some 40s start to show up. There's a lot of things that have like mini quests on items to upgrade them, but they're really weirdly sporadic. Like all your legendary gear, which is the fancy stuff, you get an upgrade chance to make it a level 20 thing, and then an upgrade chance to make it a level 40 thing. But you have to. Most of them require you to capture someone that is level 40 to do that. So you can't do it until you're 40 unless you get lucky and get one of them that's like, kill somebody that's level 40. And then you have to find someone's level 40 or find someone in an online. Sometimes it's like kill someone that's level 40 in an online vendetta. But mostly not that bad. I mean, I don't need that.
You haven't had any loot box issues. You don't feel the need to purchase them.
I have not felt the need to purchase one. In fact, most things that I've gotten from a loot box, I got followers out of them, and I'm like, I don't need you.
And you can get loot boxes with in-game currency too, right?
You can get some loot boxes with in-game currency. There's like, you can get they've got the, bargain basement level one.
The wooden box, then there's the silver box,
Pretty
then
much.
the gold box, and then the platinum box.
You can only buy the wooden box with the in-game currency.
Okay.
But I haven't had any need to buy anything. It's still ultimately kind of a skill game. So
like Batman was. It's like you
it's
can kind of
exactly
go
like
in
Batman.
like really, really chill and not upgrade pretty much anything unless it's like a story upgrade.
The
You can still-
skills are the important part, and those are free. I mean, rather you can't buy them with money. But it suffers a little bit from the same problem that the last one did, where you unlock everything you want, and then you're like, I got skill points. I guess I'll just unlock this other stuff. But most of they're major skills, and then they have sub skills on them. But the sub skills are like toggle, so you can only have one sub skill on at a time. So it's like, I got the one I want. I guess I'll unlock this one just because I have the point, but I'm not going to use it.
Sure.
So I still like it. I just want it to run. I want it to love me back. All right, so Mario Odyssey, huh?
Mario Odyssey.
That game is amazing.
It's so good.
So good.
You haven't played it.
No, I haven't played it.
So all three of us have played it. You haven't played
so
it.
you're gonna
so we
tell
have
me
to
about it.
sell it on you.
Yeah, sell me on it.
Have you liked previous Mario games?
The last Mario game that I have played is Super Mario World.
Really? You didn't play any of
Super Mario World's good.
It's a great game. I didn't have any of those platforms.
Okay.
Okay, you do have a Switch though.
I have a Switch now.
This is
Okay.
a great one to dive into.
Did you like Breath of the Wild? Did you?
I
enjoy
did
it?
like Breath of the Wild.
Okay,
You can't compare this to Breath of the
you
Wild.
can't compare. This is it's.
Then you've taken a very
a-
unusual direction here.
Well, no, it's Nintendo kind of did the same. At a base level, this is Mario in an open world setting to a degree.
Okay.
You are doing a lot of similar things at face value, but the characterization of like actually accomplishing those goals is much different. Like collecting Korok seeds and solving those puzzles is very similar to some of the stuff that you use, like getting moons and stuff. But this is much more the focus of the game, so they take that to a really high level, and they make those puzzles like really interesting. Some are super easy, but some of the puzzles are like really cool. And it's like, well, how do I get there? It's a floating island in the sky, and it's like, well, there's a secret painting that you can go into that'll teleport you over here, and then you have to solve this puzzle, and it'll spit you out somewhere else.
I mean,
So it's a lot of.
I can see how that would be the outgrowth of the Mario formula.
It's not a singular open world. Imagine,
true.
basically you're traveling around kingdoms that are on a planet that looks a lot like Earth. And every kingdom has its own theme. Every kingdom has its own little mini storyline that you'll be following through for the main story. But also there are all these not branching, there's just an open world to explore and find moons. Some moons are very much like, oh, you see a moon, go pick it up. Some moons have a puzzle attached to them.
Okay, you keep saying find moons. What am I doing in this game?
Okay. Okay. Have you beaten the game?
Yeah.
There are.
That's also very unusual, by the way, that this many people have beaten the game that quickly.
So
It's very addictive.
let me explain that again as well. When you say beat the game, that means beat the main story. If you played like a Mario like 64 or any of them, your main goal is not just to beat the story.
Right.
Once you beat the story, then you're free. Like I beat the story, and I
You
probably
can also
had,
be a T-Rex. Just
I've heard that.
just
People
letting
keep
that-
trying to sell that. But
I've beaten the story, and I had roughly 180 stars, or moons. I wasn't really going through and collecting all of them as I went. And the moons are the thing that you're doing in the game. You're finding moons. You're solving puzzles to get moons. You're walking around and collecting them, whatever. Once I beat the story, I had 180, and that opens up for every planet a set of new moons, and every planet can have anywhere from like 50 to 100 moons.
gravitational, that sounds unlikely, but all right.
And and when there's a total of like there's 999, but you can buy some of them, so the real total is like
820 something.
Yeah, but there's
999,
yes, there's 999 moons.
but the princess ain't one. Yeah.
okay. But
Little disappointed.
The best thing I can say about this game is just like super fucking creative. Every area has its own enemy that you can throw your cap onto and become that's unique to that area. Or generally,
Would that be kind of like the?
Banjo-Kazooie.
yeah.
Like in Banjo-Kazooie, each world had like something you could turn into that would help you solve puzzles. Like
Yeah.
this Mario has that.
I'm guessing that putting hats on things is basically this game's equivalent of what used to be in Super Mario 3, like the different suits.
To a degree, yeah.
Yeah.
There's no power-ups. You basically utilize the enemies to like either solve a puzzle or get through it. And like the Hammer Brothers, like they can throw the hammers and break down walls. The Goombas can stack on top of each other so you can get to higher places or interact with other enemies like passively.
And they play in like
There's a
boss
lot of
battles.
ones. There's a lot of ones that I wouldn't spoil, but there are a lot of ones that like are super surprising, and like the way they utilize them are really creative. There's one or two that maybe are kind of lame. Like there's one. This isn't really a spoiler, but the area you're in is surrounded by this like essentially lava. If you touch it, you die. And so there's one enemy that just lets you traverse the area, and it's not really exciting. It's just like you.
It's neat looking, but it's not really particularly.
Right.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. There's one that's really cool. It's kind of like Flood. It's Mario Odyssey's version of Flood, where you can kind of like levitate and fly around and stuff like that, and you utilize that to like solve. Again, it's like a lot of these enemies is, when you capture them, you're using them not to beat other enemies, but to solve a particular puzzle that enemy has a function for.
When you
sense.
when you break down the game, it's essentially just solving a bunch of
Puzzler.
puzzles.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's-
But like platform related.
Yep.
It's weird for a Mario game. You don't have a punch and a kick. Your goal, like they said, is not really beating enemies. Like you're not actively trying to kill all the enemies.
I mean, Mario was never really about killing all the enemies.
Totally.
Or at least
like
in the games that I
in a lot of
played.
Marios,
Yeah.
you wanna get all
They
the
were
enemies
just
out of your way.
obstacles.
Right. You want to get them out of your way so you can roam freely. But in this game, it's like no, you're just trying to use them.
And what are we looking at in terms of motion controls?
So
that's my one
this
gripe
is
with
this is the game makes a cardinal sin.
Uh-oh.
And that is there are necessary. Okay. There are motion controls. There are things you can do in the game only via motion controls, and the primary ones are things like throwing your hat into the air, which I've never used.
I also never use it either, so it's not necessarily.
So there are things you can do, but you might not do.
Right.
Like
So for instance, you can throw your hat, right? And if you like shake your Joy-Con in a certain direction, the hat will curve that way.
Right.
So you can kind of like home it and
Shake it in a certain direction?
Right.
Just like
Kinda
if you
like-
like throw your
Okay.
Joy-Con to the right, your hat curves to the right.
but
Okay.
it's
it's
also
like throwing a bowling ball, basically.
Right.
Yes.
Where you put, okay.
The other thing is like, so if there's a thing where you can like jump and you'll go into a roll, and if you want to continue that momentum, you have to like kind of like.
Oh,
You can just press Y.
You can just press Y.
You just press Y?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
So a lot of those motion controls.
Didn't even tell me
a lot of the motion
You've been
controls.
zombieing in your house the entire time for no
I
reason.
look like a crazy person. I was like, switch and just.
A lot of the motion controls have an analog equivalent, but some don't. And I think the ones that cause a problem for me are things like when you control enemies. Most of them have like a function that you just push a B or X with, and it'll jump or it'll do their action. But some of them also have like a secondary attack just to like clear enemies out. And while some of them you can like mash all the buttons and it will do like, if you're the fish, you can mash all the buttons and it'll spin and do the attack, but some of them don't have that and you have to shake the Joy-Con. And when you're in handheld mode, it's impossible.
There's one thing that I didn't like. It's there's a particular enemy you take over and then it goes into like a third-person shooter kind of a thing, and it's fine and you can use the non-motion controls to aim. However, if you are in basically it's like any control scheme, moving will move the reticle. So it will move it anyway. So it's like you're actually moving it with the analog stick, but if like you're moving this, it'll like mess with like what you're actually aiming at.
Can you turn that off?
Can turn motion controls off, but you lose the ability to do any of those abilities.
Yes.
Do you?
Right.
Are you talking about?
Why
the one
would
in
you have the
wooded
option
area?
there?
No,
if that was-
the one in New Donk City. So like the first time you see it is in New Donk City.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, you can turn the motion controls off, but there's no like alternative to using like the abilities that you would get with motion controls.
That said, I didn't know you could turn motion controls off. It's like some minor annoyances, but if that's it's like it wasn't like a make it or break it thing. It was just like, well, that was annoying
I
for
could still
like
beat
literally
the
a second, and I was already over it, and already just like it was just a tiny little thing.
When it comes down to it, like I can still beat the game with the motion controls turned off, but I lose the ability to do some of the cool, like fun platforming stuff that I might want to be trying to do.
I never found it hindered me in that way. It was just like I would love to throw my hat in the air for no reason at all, but
Just to do it.
right.
There must be some purpose to that, or is it just to have fun?
If there's an enemy above you, you can throw your hat
Okay.
up.
And I'm sure there's like some sort of major glitch you can do to like throw the hat in the air and then bounce off it and then shoot
But the
yourself with something.
equivalent of that is like you jump and throw your hat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
There is like this game has a lot of really good mastery to the movement. At first, I felt like I was a little bit like I couldn't do a lot. I couldn't jump very far. But then I found that you can jump, you can throw your hat, you can dive to your hat, and if you then hold X again to keep your hat there, you can bounce off it. Then you can throw your hat again and then dive to it once more, and you can go like 30, 40 feet in one go. It's really great.
I've seen a lot of gifs of people like
Yeah.
climbing structures and things
Yeah.
like that, using that sort of techniques.
And those take some practice, but once you nail it, it's like this. It becomes a whole lot more fun. It does sort of break the game in spots where you get to places that you maybe should have had to go through a harder section to get to.
Yeah, you can just kind of like levitate yourself to higher planes, but it's like again, you have to get really good at being able to do that. So while it's like you could have gone through a harder area, you mastered this specific subset of skills that allows you to go past this. It's like, well, you did something else, but you're still rewarded for your mastery of that particular subset of skills. Or you could have just done it the way the game wants you to.
And I don't really care to like master that, but I am really excited to see what speedrunners.
I was gonna say, that sounds like a speed
you
runner
should
kind
give
of thing.
yourself like an hour and just try to get the double hat jump because
It's amazing.
It adds so much to the game. You're able to get so much further. Like it's also a great recovery move. There's so many times where like, oh, I'm falling off a cliff, throw my hat, bounce to my hat, jump off it, throw again. It's great.
There are times where it's like you can throw the hat, jump, throw the hat, bounce on the hat, dive, throw the hat, and it's like you can just traverse from
I
one
think-
side of the map to the other if you can keep that
I think
going.
there's a hard cap though on the amount of hat jumps you can get.
You can keep
I don't-
going.
Really? Okay.
It's
'Cause-
basically like depending on there's a move that particularly cancels it, and it like resets the counter to 0.
Gotcha.
And it's the dive because it thinks it's like, well, you're not going to be able to. And it's like if you're fast enough, you can get back to that
Gotcha.
reset and throw it again.
I've only been able to do it a couple times, and then I felt like it hard capped me, but I guess not.
I'm just really excited to see speedrunners break the game. Like they're gonna.
They've already.
go to
I think
town
they
with
already have like a 2-hour.
Really?
Any
Jeez,
percentage.
That's
yeah.
nuts.
The game also it completely breaks from Mario convention. Normally in a Mario game you'll have like specific levels, like a Boo Haunted Mansion level, or X level, and most of those are gone. Even certain. Okay, I won't say this, but even certain levels that you would definitely expect to be in the game are completely different than
What you'd expect.
than
yeah.
what you'd expect. And the way they subvert your expectations is super creative and super fun. It's like you're not going through the modernized version of the N64 game. You're going through a new game that like has a new spin on everything that they've done in the past. And like you've seen in the trailers, like they added like weird shit like dinosaurs and humans, like regular humans to the game.
Which is really weird.
It's super weird.
Those are kind of like dinosaurs.
What's that?
Well, no, like we're talking like
talking
legitimate.
like
Like
T-Rex.
a fully rendered dinosaur.
I will say, like they open with that T-Rex, and that's still probably one of the coolest possessions that you get. I thought if they open with that, they're definitely gonna let you possess like a planet, but not quite.
The other thing is this game also has a co-op mode, and while the co-op mode isn't necessarily super useful or anything like that, it does allow you to like it's kind of like little brother co-op mode. So it's like if you have a kid or you have somebody who's younger who you want to play a game with, and they're not necessarily great with like object permanence or it's like or being able to solve these puzzles, you be Mario and they can be the Cap. And they can go around collecting coins for you, and you'll be like, "Oh, go over there, stay there for a second." So it's a fun, easy co-op that you can play with somebody who's not necessarily proficient with games, but still wants to interact and have that level of fun. And it's very simple, and you can actually like. It's like if you get somebody who's actually a high-level player playing as the Cap, you can break this game open. So there's a lot of like little things that make this game truly unique and very different than any other Mario game, while still taking those typical conventions from Mario and bringing them to a new level.
Yeah. That being said, like there are also some really cool throwbacks. Like the 2D sections, there will be sections where you like take a pipe that kind of puts you into a mural mode where it's 2D, but you're playing as 2D Mario, and they're fun platforming sections. And there's other stuff throughout the game I don't want to spoil, but that are like awesome like callbacks and kind of like throw you through the history of Mario.
All right, so how many hours to beat would you say?
I would say roughly, it's hard to gauge because I don't have the number, but I think it was around 15 to 20.
15, 20?
I'd probably put in about 15 as well.
And I'm definitely going to go back and, like, I've already beat
I'm at like 380 stars now, or moons. I have to keep going.
I mean, Mario's typically about replayability. So
Yeah.
Well, it's
just though if you want to make that first initial run through.
Well, that's the thing is like you're not replaying. You're just completing the areas. If you are a person that likes to complete stuff, this game will give you.
It's a lot to do.
Obviously, a ton of stars, but also every kingdom has their own vendors, and they'll sell you like a unique set of clothes.
And there's normal coins, and then there's purple coins, which are unique to that particular world.
Every kingdom
microtransactions?
No. Every kingdom basically has their own currency to buy their own set of clothes. That's unique to that kingdom, and then there's also like the general coin currency. And every time you unlock a new number of stars or moons, goddamn, every time you unlock a new number of moons, more clothes will open up. Like even post game, every time I turn in some moons, like you got new clothes to get. And I'm like, oh shit, those are cool clothes. I'm gonna go buy them.
The other thing is about those clothes. Some of them, people initially thought they were locked behind amiibo, but you don't need the amiibo to unlock them. It's like there's a Luigi outfit that you can get, and you can just tap the Luigi outfit with the amiibo, or just collect enough moons and it'll unlock for you.
So you can get
So every
about-
costume that they have, you can buy in the game without having to purchase those amiibos. So it's like if you're worried about DLC for using those amiibos, you don't need them.
Do you know about the ones you get from the actual Odyssey amiibos?
You can get them.
You can get them. I figured you could because
Yes.
at a certain point. Okay, yeah, all right. I got a couple of the amiibos. I still want to get the Bowser one.
I'm missing the Bowser one too, and I'm really upset. It's like they had Mario and Peach, and I'm like, yes. I'm like, do you have Bowser?
You go to Best Buy?
Yes.
I did
I went
too.
to Best Buy. I went to GameStop.
I had some points, and my amiibos ended up costing me $1, and I was like, I feel very good about this purchase. But that game and Breath of the Wild have been my two favorite games of the year, and like I'm kind of blown away to say that Nintendo has been like the strongest platform for me this year.
I definitely feel like
far.
I'm back in like the Nintendo ecosystem.
Yep.
Like I'm looking forward to like more Nintendo games. And
Well, you were never out.
Well, the thing is like they have made some. I was like, I liked my Wii U, and it had a bunch of great games on it. System was literally a Wii with a Fisher-Price touchscreen. There's a lot of things that they did way huge missteps with it. And it's like, but they had Splatoon on it, which was really good and a really neat IP that they brought to the Switch. And it's like a lot of these things. It's like. You probably should have killed the Wii U off sooner, focused on handheld stuff, and developed a lot of these things as launch things for the Switch. But hindsight's 20/20 for Nintendo, and it's like there's things that I don't necessarily agree with. Like the 2DS is still stupid to me. The 2DS
Still out there, they're still selling them.
The 2DS XL, when that actually closes, like that's what you should have launched with. That is like because I never turn on my 3D slider. I never use it whatsoever, and there's no point for me to have it. So it's like I have this new 3DS XL, and it's really cool. And there's a function I have never and will never use on it. So there's a lot of stuff about Nintendo that's like, look, you're just, what the hell are you
You
doing?
still love them though.
But
they're all of that amiibo collector.
I do. The thing is, I like the amiibos because they are high quality, they look great, and they're great little collectibles.
And they're spying on you.
And they are spying on me.
They're living in your house.
Yeah.
They're consuming your power and electricity. You don't even know it.
Look,
They're sucking up your Wi-Fi signal.
they might be giving me power.
They're why Austin has lost internet today.
Oh.
It's amiibos throughout the city have banded together. They're becoming sentient. They're forming a neural network.
This is like toy soldiers.
This is how it starts.
I have this really great image of Ryan with like a bat and a helmet, and he's just beating the shit
I will
out
be
of
the
amiibos.
last bastion against the amiibos. I will be standing over the crushed remains of human society, swatting tiny amiibos to dust.
There's one image in my head that defines you, Ryan. That's that image.
All right. Well, it sounds like you guys are all by it.
Yeah.
Yep,
Oh yeah.
absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
It is a system seller for sure. They bundled it with they released new. They actually manufactured more Switches, and their specific Nintendo, well, as I should say, Mario Odyssey bundle. So it comes with a digital download for the game and red Joy-Cons for Mario. And it's like, hey, here it is. This is the system seller. This is like it's like back in the days of the NES or the Super Nintendo, where it's like, hey, here's Super Mario Brothers and Duck Hunt with the NES, or here's Super Mario World with the SNES. This is that for this console. Though before it was probably Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. Well, and they're very different types of games. So I mean, that's going to appeal to different
You
audiences.
should still buy Breath of the
You
Wild
should
if you
still
haven't played it.
Yeah.
It's super
By
good.
far, game of the year for me.
All right.
Really, still even after like we've been having a really great year for games.
Dude, I mean, I've been playing a lot of games, but none of them have like blown me away and changed so many conventions.
It's true.
The way Breath of the Wild did.
Okay, then let's talk about some news. Magic, they're gone. It's like those cans were never there.
Ruin that continuity.
No, I'm improving the set.
Oh, fair enough.
I'm getting rid of this. Oh,
It's
all
garbage.
the spooky stuff is gone. I just noticed. Even though that makes sense because it's not October.
It's November, Ryan.
We're getting ready for Christmas. It's November
Barely.
2nd.
Where's the turkeys? Come on.
Just
I'm
saying,
a little,
bunch
right
of
to Christmas.
little
dried
disappointed.
turkeys.
That's the problem is everyone skips over Thanksgiving and it never gets its due.
I'm actually surprised you're not in a Santa outfit right now. For this
No,
podcast.
that's Christmas. You got to give Thanksgiving its
All right,
time.
so next week what we'll do is we'll go to HEB, we'll just get a bunch of deli turkey meat and we'll just hang it all around
Just
the set.
lunch meat everywhere.
Cool.
I like Thanksgiving a lot.
You should. It's a great holiday.
Because it's good food.
But it doesn't
good
have
food,
the same
family.
It doesn't have the same like holiday cheer as Christmas. And
You're doing it wrong.
I don't feel. I don't know. I don't know how to fix that, man.
Thanksgiving to me-
Do you celebrate like Halloween?
Yeah.
It's the month before Halloween. I'm watching scary movies. I'm eating candies, maybe. I'm in the Halloween spirit. Everything's spooky. There's bats and pumpkins, and I'm loving
It's like October 1st, it's like, all right, time to get spooky,
Right.
let's do this.
Okay.
Pre-Christmas.
I know what the problem is.
Pre-Christmas, I'm watching Christmas movies. I'm baking cookies.
I'm already singing Christmas carols in my car on the way
Right.
to work.
I'm singing so many songs
That's
to
a
Grace.
travesty.
Well, it's
She
the
hates it.
Muppet Christmas
No,
Carol,
you
all right?
stop it.
It's
Stop
Muppet
it
Christmas
right
Carol
now. It's too
timeless.
early.
But what do you do? How do you get in the spirit
Okay.
for Thanksgiving?
Here's the problem.
This is news, by the way.
This is absolutely new.
News speed run. This is the problem with Thanksgiving right now, at least where we live. The nature isn't holding up its part. Part
No,
of
there's no
Thanksgiving, it's
colored
like that's
leaves.
Fall, yeah. It's like
Yeah,
things are
okay.
supposed to, like the whole world is supposed to be getting like, hey, it's fall.
It keeps
things are
bouncing
happening.
between like 60 degrees and like 80 degrees.
It's
And
fucking 80 degrees out there.
It
That
is.
is not fall.
We have lush green trees up through November. We hit December 1st. All the leaves just disappear. They don't even hit
They
the ground.
panic and hit
just,
the
like,
floor.
Oh, they hit
Gone.
the ground at my house.
Oh, yeah.
And they stay there until I get ambitious enough to take care of that.
Light a match
Christmas.
and burn it all down.
That would probably raise my insurance premiums a lot.
It solves the problem faster, though.
It does not. It makes new ones.
Well, you know.
The tree won't make any more leaves. There is that problem solved.
Again,
but
problem solved.
hey, let's talk about Assassin's Creed getting fake review boosted on Metacritic.
Did it really?
Yes, it did.
That's
Oh, yeah.
what this says. With the launch of Assassin's Creed Origins, there was a huge flood of fake reviews that pumped up the Metacritic score. These reviews were all from accounts with alphabet soup usernames and seemed to be spamming similar language. For example, dozens of them said, and by the way, this is
Word for word.
as is written, and it is
Quote.
not great English.
It's better than Assassin's Creed Unities and Assassin's Creed Syndicates. It is more mature and best, interesting in character, and the historical characters are handled well.
handle.
Really cool how they added that accent into
Yeah,
it.
Yeah, no, it's really, that comes across perfectly.
It does.
I memorized that, by the way.
Nice. Kotaku quoted Mark Doyle at Metacritic saying, "It's not a frequent occurrence, maybe 2-3 games a year," Doyle said. "And yes, we've been aware of this case, and we've been moderating these reviews and suspending those accounts, most of which had one single review in their history. Go figure. The people doing it appear to be changing it up with the chunk of text they keep replicating, but our moderators are working overtime to combat it. Probably just changing up the bad English, mainly. With bonuses and raises tied to Metacritic scores, is this something we might see more of in the future?"
Is there bonuses and races?
Yeah,
tied to
it's
Metacritic?
certain
companies, yeah.
Certain companies
Yikes.
give bonuses out depending on what the game's Metacritic score. I know that I believe EA has done it before.
Is
in
it
the past.
user
That
score or
doesn't
critic
surprise
score?
me.
I think it's just Metacritic score overall. So it's like it's whatever the final Metacritic score is after a certain period of time.
That's rough.
So I think that Metacritic doing this like as quickly as possible and to just like get rid of it, I don't think it's going to have any like long-lasting effects. But they say 2-3 games a year, so this isn't like an isolated. It's not like Ubisoft's trying to boost this. It's not like.
How do you feel about adding a vetting system to Metacritic, where if you're a new account and you post a single review, then it's maybe in its own section? It's gated off until you've established
Not
that
count towards the aggregate, is what you're saying?
Until
you can
after the
establish
fact.
that you're gonna be a frequent contributor.
Kind of like how Rotten Tomatoes has their like actual movie reviewer scores,
Right.
and people that can just sign up for an account and create their movie
Pretty
reviews.
much, yeah.
We just need to eliminate anonymity on the internet and just give everyone a real ID that's tied to your social security number, and you scan it in your computer every time you log into a new website. And that way you can't fuck around.
Yeah.
Adam's
Sounds
coming
cool.
in. Adam's coming in hot and heavy with
Coming
this.
to work tomorrow, and Adam's gonna be like putting chips into our It's like scan, comment, go.
When you're fired, you just get evaporated into nothing.
I mean, that's really the danger you run when you have any kind of crowdsourced review process, though, is people are going to game it.
I think honestly that might be the best way to go about things is to actually just it's like have that vetting system. It's like once you have a couple like good reviews under your belt, like say I don't know, it's like not even like a high bar, like 3 to 5, something very simple. And it's like once you've actually
I don't think that'll solve the problem, because if these are just bots, then they can just be like, okay, post 5 reviews.
well, it's like you'd have to be like rated by other people. Like you have the other people like reviewing the reviews. It's like basically like the Amazon thing of like, is this useful? Why N?
How credible.
But then it's like, then we'll just game each other's by rating each other's. How do you?
There's a certain point where you make it so annoying that it's just not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
And that's what look at the TSA. It's the same thing, right? They're just making it really annoying.
So we don't fly anymore.
Yes, and so no one wants to get on the plane.
Just walk. You know what? Just be done with it.
How is Assassin's Creed? I tweeted the other
haven't
day
played
and
it
I was
yet.
like, hey, this looks interesting. I haven't played one in a while. Is this a good one to jump into?
I've
And
heard it's okay.
Someone wrote back, that's a personal opinion. You should just try it. It's
The game-
I
A
know
lot
it's
of
a personal
people
opinion.
in my office are really enjoying it. I will say it's very weird walking by an Assassin's Creed game being played and seeing numbers pop out of people.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Well, the thing is,
Why is that cool?
I love combat text. I like seeing floating numbers.
You're an MMO guy.
because it gives me when I get bigger numbers, I know I'm improving.
The game is a lot of
Alright.
fun, and it's if I were to compare it to anything, it definitely feels like Assassin's Creed 2 was what kind of like with Ezio and everything was what kind of like really pulled a lot more people into Assassin's Creed. This feels like the next like step in the games that's going to pull more people into the games. I would say though, are you going to play it on PC or are you going to play it on a console?
I mean, I'm a PC person, so
I would not pick it up then.
really that bad.
My roommate tried to pick it up and play it on PC, and it completely just crashed your computer. There have been reports of it like hard maxing out
yeah,
your
that's
CPU.
right. The whole it's like you.
Breaking computers.
Apparently, it is layered with like both Denuvo as DRM
Oh, and
and
you play.
VM Sphere.
Yeah. There's another
On top of it.
There's another. Yeah. So then.
Go on.
It's allegedly there is the second DRM. Ubisoft says no, but people and they said that and it was a statement like this was like last night that they're just like no, you shouldn't be having this shouldn't be having any problems, and if you have any PC problems or anything, you should go to the Ubisoft and support site and report it. And it's like this is a widespread thing that a lot of people are saying. It's like it's like I have it's like say GTX 1080. I have my rig is amazing. but I can see this taxing my computer. It's like I have an ultimate rig. This is like the best anything money can buy, and I can see things hitting 100%. It's not affecting my gameplay because my rig is so good, but I can see it, maxing out my CPU at 100%, and I can see it taxing it.
Long story short, something in the game is like hard maxing out CPUs. People will like alt-tab out and look at their CPU usage, and it's at 100%.
Just spikes.
You can
and it
hear
stays
your
there for a
computer
while,
chugging.
It's interesting because that's similar to what I'm seeing in Shadow of War.
I was gonna say, like, it sounds like something's there. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of like back DRM that's like causing computers to chug. But yeah, I just purchased it on console, installed it, and it booted up right away, and I was just able to play it. So I don't know what it is that's doing it.
They've also, I mean, the other weird thing about it in going into this version is, aside from the combat text, is they now have a very Diablo-esque equipment system, right?
It's very loot system, yeah.
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 And they're like, enemies have levels where it's like, I can't fight that guy yet. He's too awesome.
In the trailer, they showed, I believe he was fighting like a giant basilisk or like some sort of giant snake. Was that a fantasy thing, or was that just like, oh, there's a big anaconda?
Apparently, you can fight, like, there's like a whole like Egyptian god fighting thing, where it's
Okay.
like, and there's going to be DLC with more of that later.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
That's sort of what I would be interested in, is not fighting humans. I feel like just fighting people over and over gets boring.
Well, something that you might be interested in is apparently there's like a level cap you can hit, and then some future DLCs is going to raise that level cap and give you more bosses to fight, and kind of do that whole gear grindy system.
I'll be quite honest. There's like almost no games that keep my interest long enough for me to want to play the DLC.
Okay, fair enough.
I think the only one
you gonna play Breath of the Wild?
really has been Dark Souls. I tried to play Breath
No,
of the
the
Wild.
story one.
Yeah, I'll probably play the story one, but I tried to play the one
The trials.
with the trials, and I just I tried playing hard mode. It was fucking hard.
It is really hard.
Fuck, man. The game's so hard.
So you like the flavor text for like seeing all the
Yeah, the floating combat text is
But
what I'm into.
even with the minimalistic UI that this has, I mean, it's like it's all like way out of the way, and it's very simple, and I think it fades away, right?
Well, this is also from the output, too.
Yeah, this.
I mean,
it's like,
I guess
so
it's a personal preference thing. I mean,
I
listen,
suppose it's true.
if you can turn it off, great. I mean, it depends. I haven't played this specific game, but I don't know. I like seeing my numbers get huge.
Yeah, I'm with that
but
on this
if it is a Dark Souls-esque combat system, probably would prefer not to have
I've
it.
heard it's more like For Honor in terms of the combat system, in terms of like
Interesting.
battling. But I know that like
Sound good to me.
I know the DLC is going to kind of end up like raising that little cap, giving you more like boss battles. But the boss battles are supposed to be all like Egyptian gods like related.
So you know what? Like just looking at this and having seen a lot of the gameplay and everything like that, it really reminds me of Darksiders 2, where it's like a very like roguelike, where you're actually rolling for loot, and you're actually like you said, it's like you can see the numbers popping up when you're actually fighting enemies. It's like, oh, this is better, and it's like because the loot that you get in this game actually has tiers too, just
it's
like that. So again,
color tiers.
color tiers and stuff like that. So as far as like that loot mechanic and tagging enemies and enemy levels
That's
and
the thing.
that
Is
flavor
I
text.
like loot systems, but I also don't like fighting the same type of enemies over and over. I know that there are different types of humanoid enemies, but there's something about fighting monsters that does it for me.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there.
I'm gonna dive into it some more this weekend, and I'll report.
Love
back
that.
to you.
That was great.
But yeah, like it's something I'm really looking forward to diving into and getting really into to see how it's gonna play and how it compares to previous Assassin's Creeds.
Yeah.
All right, so Metacritic boosting, bad. Assassin's Creed, maybe.
It's all right.
Let's talk about uncensored patches blocked on Steam. You guys like nudies?
Yes.
Nudies?
I'm not gonna complain.
Nudies?
I think the whole thing was like they're not allowing people to talk about it.
Is it?
Well, here, I'll
online
read it real
anymore.
quick and then we'll. This week, news came out that Steam is no longer allowing adult games to push patches that will uncensor their games. Previous to this, which I didn't even know was an option, other than that one game, Galgun, where that was a DLC though. It wasn't a patch.
Yeah, and the thing is that one was like you pay for the DLC,
Pay
but again, you
$90.
don't. Well,
Right.
you can unlock it in the game. They
can
literally,
you?
they literally released it and
Oh.
they said you shouldn't buy this. This is a joke DLC, and people are like, oh my god, $90. It's like they literally said in the description of the thing, it's like you can get this in the game by just playing the game. So it was really like a gag DLC to get headlines, and it
Gotcha.
worked. I mean, it
did
got them
work.
headlines.
Previous to this, it became a normal practice to put censored version of adult games on Steam and then provide a patch on the Steam support pages or descriptions to patch fully uncensored content. According to the makers of Galaxy Girls, let's look that game up in a minute.
It is a dating sim.
I have it pulled up right now.
All right, Steam will no longer allow them to host the patches on
You
Steam.
cannot look at that at work.
Don't tell IT.
how to get them somewhere else or acknowledge they exist at all.
So yeah,
You
basically
can't acknowledge that they exist.
on
As
on
if you want to have your
Steam.
game on Steam,
What if you have a
s-
trailer
Okay.
on Steam that's like,
So-
it exists?
So the
it's
way
on Steam.
the way that this particular company's circumventing this, and I feel like
looking at this.
and I feel like most companies are going to do this as well, and they kind of already do, is they release the game and you just go to their website and they host the patch there.
Uh-huh.
And most of them said, hey, if you want an uncensored patch, go, and they'd have that listed in the description of the
They
video
can't
or in a
link to
patch.
it.
Now they can't link to it, but I mean, if you play the game, you're probably, it's like going to look at their website at least once, and I'm sure it's like going to
not
be.
necessarily.
Give you
That's the idea
some
of Steam, though.
like frame of reference on. Okay, here are some of the games they make.
He's looking at porn.
I had to scroll past some of these thumbnails. Alexa's Wild Night.
Yep.
Galaxy Girls, Battle Girls, Army Gals, Bunny Bounce, Beauty Bounce, Magi Trials, Negligee, Summer Fling, Echo Tokyo Intro, High School Romance, High School Possession, Divine Slice of Life, and Beach Bounce are just some of the games.
And most
bouncing
of those
and
are
girls.
dating sims.
Oh yeah, and then on their shopping page on their website, you can actually buy body pillows of some of the girls from the games.
Of course you can.
That is actually all. And
Add that
they-
one to cart.
No. Oh no.
How much does that cost? $250.
That's a figurine.
Okay.
The body pillow is $80, and
$250 for a pillow.
Fuck.
our producer asked me to look into like how graphic these games get. They go pretty far.
I mean, I've played some of those for no. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of that.
And you played them censored.
Yes. Well, I think so. That was kind of the big thing with.
Did you go above and beyond and go to download the uncensored patch for any of those, Ryan?
No, I didn't. Well, I don't think most of those had them.
Because
But the big thing about okay, let's back up for a second here. There are many AAA titles that have nudity in them already.
GTA,
But it's not.
Red Dead
but
Redemption,
it's about like
God of War.
Yep.
It's not a porn game. Like it's not a sexualized game.
I mean,
These are dating
you
sims.
literally have sex with two people at the intro of God of War,
Oh, I guess you're right. Yeah.
and it's
It's not on
it's
Steam though.
But they
It's
don't.
not
They
on
don't.
Steam, but
it's not on Steam, but it's like it's a level of like there's a bunch of games that there
We're
are
talking
those.
about Steam.
Oh, there's GTA.
Yeah.
do you think they wouldn't host God of War if God of War was available off PlayStation?
I don't know. Depends on how much boobies there are. I guess.
It's true.
Look,
These are
There's
like.
there's plenty nudity on Steam
Is there?
without having to have a censored patch.
To be fair,
all right?
these are most of these are visual novels like that are pretty much just for the intent of like boning and banging and everything else under the sun.
As you do.
Do you
As you do.
think that this is Steam's way to try and circumvent having to ever have some sort of actual age gating system on?
Yes. Absolutely.
What else? What
Have
other
an
purpose?
age gating system. You tell them your age when you go to a page.
Yeah, and then you hit yes. Did you
I
know?
promise, I am.
Have you
I,
no-
I swear, I'm totally that old. Yay!
They did
Show me the boobies.
Gabe Newell did a post a while ago. I think it was probably like at the beginning of last year, where it's like most people who use Steam, their birthday is January 1st, and it's like, all right,
Yep.
it's mostly, and it's probably half.
1900.
It's
Yeah,
they
so
just
lots of old
scroll.
people.
They just scroll to the bottom, hit the whatever they need to, and then they don't even bother with the day or the month. So most people, and it's like I do that when I'm on the website, and so it's like, it's like, oh, I need to get this trailer for something. It's like I don't care.
You're not gonna put in your exact
I'm not gonna
birthday,
put in
just
my
scroll
birthday
up.
because I just want to get to this trailer and
Yep.
get to this thing.
On Gabe Newell, he did do an AMA earlier in the year where someone pretty much straight up asked him, just said, would you ever consider allowing uncensored video games containing pornographic content to be sold on Steam? Also, where do you draw the line for content on Steam? And his response was more or less, in principle, there are two problems to solve. The first is a completely uncurated distribution tool for developers. The second is a tool set for customers that allow them to find and filter content that is best for them.
Wow, they already have an uncurated distribution filter thing for developers. There's already a bunch of shit on Steam.
Yep.
I have to filter out anime and nudity because like 50 games a day come out that are just like all my new releases are like, here's some porn. I don't care.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Now it's tasteful.
There's been more games released on Steam in the last 2 years than there were games on Steam total
Yeah.
the years before that.
Yep.
And that's a lot of the fact that the system is completely uncurated. And it's like they keep trying to come up with a way to fix the system. And that was the whole thing of like, oh, hey, you want to put a game on our platform, pay X amount of money to put it on there. And the unfortunate part is now those developers is like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to say it and put it on there, and it's like people will get Steam cards, and it's like that's what most of those games are for. It's like just getting those Steam cards real fast and like circumventing a lot of the systems and just being able to like make a gross amount of money really quickly because it's such a cheap thing and people want those little Steam cards to make more money. Yep. So, and there's once they fix that system, I think then they can focus on, the curation of like the uncensored patches. It's like, because until they fix this problem is going to keep happening.
It's already fixed. Can't do it anymore. There you go.
It's not going to stop people from doing it. And I guarantee you that there's games that still have it on
Look, they're not trying to stop people from doing it. They're just saying don't do it on our platform.
It's not going to kill off like the adult games market. It's always going to be out there. There's always going to be developers who's like, oh, just check out our homepage. We'll tell you what exactly you're looking for.
I mean, here, Outlast has a lot of graphic sexual content in it.
Boy, does it.
And that's on Steam.
Like the Dick Twins.
And that's just Outlast 1.
Reference.
Outlast 2 has like literal scenes.
That reference.
There's the twins. They're just hanging dong all the time.
Yeah, they're just big, giant, naked dudes, and they're just
swinging in the wind.
I will Google that later.
Okay, then. Don't need a patch for that.
Nope.
No, and see,
if anything, maybe they could patch some underwear in, really.
But see, there's plenty of games that are like that, and it's like, again, Outlast 2 has a lot of sexual content in it, and it's very graphic and very violent. But that didn't need an uncensored patch. They just let that on there. So,
I mean, it sounds like the thrust of it is games the games that are designed to be what they deem pornographic content. So Outlast 2 is and the Outlast series. Most of these series that we're listing, though, God of War is definitely just a straight up orgy at the beginning. But the point of the game is not sex.
Right.
It is incidental to the game.
Well, it's a mode of storytelling for some of the stuff. Though,
then it's art.
Except for again, like you said, the Dong twins. There's no reason for them to be naked whatsoever. They're literally just hanging dong and they're just walking around naked the entire time. There's no plot reason for it.
Yeah,
they just are.
But they're not doing anything with the dongs.
That we know of.
Well, that you see.
That's
the game.
that you see.
The dongs are not applied.
Sounds like art to me.
However,
unapplied nudity is okay.
However, there is. Did you play the Whistleblower DLC?
I have not yet.
Okay, so the Whistleblower DLC literally has a section that it's like, again, mode of storytelling that is hyper sexualized graphic content. It is ridiculous, like in the way that it's portrayed. It's like, oh my gosh. It's like, how could you? It's like, how did you get away with this?
Is Galaxy Girls mature gated? Because there's a lot of games that you do have to at least enter your age.
Yes.
To get to it.
Yeah. Let me just try.
Because I would be curious to see if maybe this is part of that. Is they're trying to get.
It's $12.99. Sweet. That's a deal.
They're trying to.
It is.
It is age gated. Okay.
Because I mean that would kind of make sense if it was like they're worried about people putting a game on Steam that is not age gated, but can be unlocked.
Define age gated, because all it says is this game contains, like, there's no like login, there's no like confirm your age. It just literally says, hey.
A lot of them don't have the login.
Yeah.
They don't. Okay.
A lot of them just say continue review page.
Yeah, it just says, hey, this is maybe not appropriate for all ages, and you probably shouldn't look at this at work. So I'm gonna click on view page.
A lot of them have that thing where you can't, which is annoying to me when I'm logged in, because I'm logged in all the time, where it's like,
you already have
put
your
your age
birthday
in again, just to be sure.
But it's like, this is my account. You have my birthday already.
Yeah.
You already have all of my information. You have my credit cards. Just take my money. You already know my age.
Leave me alone.
Yes.
And it's not stopping anyone.
No.
Anyway. All right. Well.
So what we got next?
Okay. What we got next? We got PlayStation and Paris Games Week announcements.
Lots.
There was a shit ton of trailers.
Most importantly,
Spelunky 2. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's it. Good show.
Okay. All right, I'm just gonna run down the list real quick because a couple of these I didn't know were going to exist, like Guacamelee 2.
Guacamelee 2's trailer was really good.
I wish I could
seen
get
that
into
one.
the theme of that game, man.
It's Metroidvania.
It is,
and
but
it's
I
really
just
fun.
don't like the luchador theme. It's just not fun to me. It's not a fantasy. I like fantasy.
All right, that's
I mean,
It's
to each their own.
Yeah.
You know what?
all I know is that my son and I like playing it together, so it's a good game for them.
good.
Let's see. We got Blood and Truth, a super British VR assassin game. Concrete Genie. a
That game
magical
looked
graffiti
really
game
cool.
about bullying.
Yes. It looks really
Okay.
cool.
Destiny 2, Curse of Osiris.
That's the new DLC.
Really
It is.
excited about that one.
The
Why are you
trailer
crossing your
didn't-
fingers?
I'm just hoping it's good. I just really, like, I don't know. I hope it does more than what usual Destiny DLC
It won't.
does. I know it won't, but
not.
still.
Jeff brought up an interesting point the other day when that trailer came up, which was he said it's hard to sell story DLC for this right now when they kind of blew their load in the sense that you've already just saved the galaxy.
Well, so the thing is, so I've actually been replaying the game on
Uh-huh.
PC, and I'm taking my time with this one. I'm actually like, instead of just blowing through all of the worlds, I'm doing all the solo adventures and kind of like paying attention to any of the story stuff. And they reference Osiris, which is what the first DLC is about, a lot in those like solo missions. Like there's one on the Vex planet where you're like hopping platforms and you're basically hacking Ghost and what's her name, the AI girl that is friends with Cade, into the Vex's like mainframe. And in there, like she references, she's like, "Oh yeah, they're the Vexers doing something really weird and fishy, and I got all this information from this guy named Osiris. He says hi," and you know the Ghost is like, "Oh, we should totally tell like the Guardians back home about that." And
That's the exotic quest, right? Yeah.
yeah, that's the exotic quest. But yeah, like so you kind of just there's like these small references to Osiris in these solo missions that are kind of setting up for the first DLC that are making me way more excited for it than I usually would, especially after this most recent trailer and like they kind of reveal more about Osiris and everything. And yeah, it looks cool.
We'll see. I mean, they didn't announce a new raid. It's just going to be a new raid mode.
Oh, I thought. Oh man, I for some reason I read
Really?
the raid.
I thought there was going to be a new raid.
I thought I read a new raid. I'll look
That's
that
what
up.
Alfredo told me. I don't know if it's wrong. Take it up with Alfredo.
Come on, Alfredo.
Come on, Alfredo.
Is that something you're gonna be playing?
I mean, I'm sure.
I mean,
we'll
guess
do
you
it.
will for work.
Yeah.
You will be dragged kicking and screaming into the
I mean,
DLC.
again, I like Destiny 2. It's a fun game.
You played a lot of Destiny 1.
They did a great job of. I played a lot of Destiny 1. Destiny 1 was a fun shooter. They just did a real terrible job of telling a story in Destiny 1, such that now they built on it with Destiny 2, and they actually told a good story, but they didn't. They're building on a world that they poorly explained in the first place, which is partially what led to Jeff's comment. But didn't we kill the Vex super brain like in the first game?
I think it ultimately
they're
comes.
like
I think-
time traveling things.
Right,
It's
now
like
the
they're Vex from the
future-
I also
future in
think
the past.
I think it ultimately
does
comes
that
down to like if you don't like, you can also set aside the story. This is a vehicle for like more fun shit to do.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But
a lot of people are complaining that the game is like, it's too short. But it's like, man, I played Destiny for a solid like 3 or 4 weeks. Like I don't get that much time out of games normally.
Yeah.
And that's I feel totally satisfied with what I
The
played.
Destiny 1 story was not long.
No.
Though I think the way that they've done the bounty system in this one is probably less conducive to bringing you back every day.
From what I'm finding on here, it looks like the new DLC. It says new main quests, missions, strikes, activities, and raid activity.
Yeah.
So that's kind of
Interesting.
worrisome.
It doesn't sound like they're adding a raid. They're adding raid modifier.
Although a lot of like headlines I'm seeing say raid content. So I don't know.
Raid content is still not necessarily
That's true.
Right.
a raid.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
It's
What
very
if it's going to be like
ambiguous.
a new set of like the raid how it's laid out as like 3 challenges and
Yeah.
a boss? What if it's going to be like another
Could be.
challenge or another couple challenges that
that'd be
maybe
that would
rotate
not
in?
make me want to play it again, though.
You already beat
It
the
depends
raid.
what they're
Why would you go
unlock
back?
for me.
The
Like, is it-
payoff on the raid is gear that isn't interesting anymore.
I mean, there's
It looks different. I mean, for people that like cosmetic stuff, it's probably interesting. But the raid gear used to be like, here's
used to
some
be
gear that's
better.
really cool.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, it looks different.
yeah, they're sort of homogenizing.
Really? That's it?
I mean,
Doesn't do
the-
special.
the-
like
the
it used to be, it's like, this is a piece of gear that has something special that benefits
Yeah,
Right.
it basically
especially for the raid.
it would make things useful to like re-accomplish the raid at a harder difficulty.
Yes.
And also, like the exotics in Destiny 2 are not. They don't feel very powerful to the point where I don't even.
Well, they're all over the damn
Right now,
place,
I don't
too.
have an exotic equipped as one of my weapons. I have my Nameless Midnight. I have my Uriel's Gift as my auto rifle, and I have the Raid Sword. Like none of them are that great.
Particularly good.
Yeah. I mean, some of them are good, but like,
I like Osiris's ghost. It looks neat.
dude, yeah, it does.
This looks really cool.
Let's see. Other things announced. Erica, which is a dramatic full-motion video game that uses phone controls like Jackbox. I don't know.
There's a lot of Sony's been doing a lot of that lately too, where there's like a lot of games that are like use your phone to do a thing.
Far Cry 5 is getting co-op.
Not surprising.
Not really
No.
that surprising, though. It's I think this time going to be full co-op.
Yes.
In 3, it was a set of missions. In 4, you could co-op
Open world.
You could the open world stuff, but no story missions.
Right.
In 5, you
had
could
to
do the full thing.
And the co-op partner didn't get any bonuses.
You still don't in 5. In 5, the co-op the co-op partner I think can get experience and progression, but they do not get story progression.
That was the difference, though.
I had fun in Far Cry 4 just rolling around, like getting someone grappled onto my little like gyrocopter thing.
Because you didn't get anything in Far Cry 4 when you played co-op.
I don't believe so.
At least you're getting something in this. So that's at least a motivation to play it with a friend.
You get to level up.
Yes.
Ghost of Tsushima?
Ghost of Tsushima from the infamous developers.
Getting that Japanese down.
Ghost of
Samurai
Tsushima.
game from Sucker Punch. God of War obviously had a new trailer that was all right.
It was more gameplay, which I like the fact that they showed gameplay.
They did. Guacamelee 2, Invector. It's a frequency-like rhythm game with Avicii music. League of War VR Arena. Clash of Clans, but in VR.
That sounds like such a generic fucking name.
Really does.
League
It really-
of War.
That sounds like a
VR
mobile
Arena.
game.
Yeah.
Game of
It
games.
looks kind of cool, but I'm not going to judge it
Fight
until I can
of
see
combat. Loco Roco 2 Remaster, Monster Hunter World.
I'm excited for Monster Hunter World.
Yeah?
I've never really played a Monster Hunter game.
I
That game
played-
looks really sweet. Is it coming to PC on the same day?
That's
we know?
not
don't
included
know.
in this bullet point.
I've played a Monster Hunter game before. I didn't really like it. This one seems a little bit more my speed.
Let's see. We got
That was a
Moss,
great visual I just gave by yawning.
third-person mouse game in VR, which third-person games in VR are like, why did you do that?
It looks cute though.
Okay.
Look, I'm counterpoint. It's cute.
Maybe there's a lot of people. Well, I mean, that's not too different, I would imagine, from Lucky's Tale.
Super lucky. Well, yeah, Lucky's Tale.
Which was like, okay. I mean, I guess it's kind of cool that I can be like, but
Pick them up and
that
throw
is
them against the wall.
not a fun way to play a platformer
Yeah.
side-scroller game. At least for me. There's Onrush, which is a new arcade racing game. Ore, which is like Journey or Flower.
That's already out.
You're kind of a dragon.
Awesome.
All right.
Dragons are cool.
Dead Hungry, zombie food truck VR game. That's interesting because that's already out on Steam. I've played it.
Did you like it?
It's weird, man.
Interesting.
It's, there's a lot of cooking games out there already on VR, but this one, it's like everything in the truck can potentially go on the burger. So the fun part of that game is making just ridiculous
They had the
things.
job simulator thing that was cooking, very similar.
It's similar to that, but you have to basically cook food and throw it out to. It's like a zombie horde.
Oh, so you're trying to pacify the zombie horde by
Is it
cooking things.
multiplayer where like
It wasn't.
one person could be like on cooking duty and like tossing food to the people?
Like
far enough?
overcooked, but in VR? That'd be awesome.
So
that.
there's a VR of the Champions on this on the Achievement Hunter channel if you want to take a look at it. But we didn't until like the last couple rounds discover that. So it's like burgers and fries, and you're just making the burgers, and then turns out you can put anything into the burger. Like you can take the ketchup dispenser and put it in there, and then put like the spatula on it, and then put the bun on. And it's like then it calls it like the super beef ketchup spatula burger.
Okay.
Is there any like combinations of like this turns into a grenade?
No matter what, it turns into food, and then they eat it, and they're happy.
No, I mean, like, it's a
Interesting.
food
You're just
grenade.
grabbing
It's a
shit off
burger
the
with a
wall,
grenade
like
in
put
it.
the clock in it, and then it's a clock burger.
that sounds like an awesome game, though.
It was fun, but I don't know how much replayability it is. Like, okay, great, I've made everything in the room into a burger now.
They're still waiting for like a legitimate like VR experience that's like Resident Evil 7 is still that like here's an actual game that's a VR game.
Fallout is coming out. I'm
Yep.
I'm not gonna
And
buy it.
Doom VFR
Yeah.
and Skyrim.
Yeah, I'm pretty. I don't want to pay full price for that Fallout game, but man,
I might.
I'm very curious.
I don't think I ever beat Fallout 4, so going back and playing through it in VR might be a fun.
I didn't because the endings were so uninteresting.
Yeah.
Like, I got to the point where I was like, what ending do I want to do? Let me look. And I was like, oh, these all suck.
Yeah.
It's more fun to just mess around in Bethesda games, and I think that that's probably the pinnacle of like just messing around in a sandbox in VR.
Yeah.
I think that's like the natural progression of things. Like I can go and do. That's why Minecraft in VR is like such a like fun concept.
It's interesting. I've tried it a few times, but I'm ready
still
for them to get it
glitchy.
fully working.
I know you've been working on that for a long time.
We can't get Achievement City into the new version of Minecraft yet. Is the problem for us.
That's always been a problem, Ryan.
It's at least
always
working
been a
again,
problem.
so, but we just can't transfer it yet, which apparently a lot of people have. Now they've released the Windows 10 version of Minecraft is now available on Xbox, which is the Play Anywhere version.
That's right, yeah.
And they have functionality where you can move a world from the old version to the new version but it doesn't work great for every.
Yeah, the play anywhere thing is still kind of broken for that. Well, the shared
transfer is
worlds. Yeah,
broken.
the shared worlds thing is still having issues.
That worked, surprisingly. I was able to connect to a same game on my PC that was open on Xbox.
That seems to be the best way to do it is PC and Xbox, but like doing it with doing a Switch and a handheld and an Xbox and a PC. It's like once you start getting all those ecosystems together, then things start going like, what do I do with all this? And it's still having some issues with not major issues. You can still do it, but
Go figure, yeah. Let's see, we got the Gardens Between, which is an adventure game with time rewind.
That one looks really cool. It looks like a combination of Brothers meets Braid. So like,
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like two people kind of walking through a world, but like with time rewind puzzle mechanics.
Okay.
Yeah, looks fun.
Hong Kong Massacre. Max Payne that plays like Hotline Miami.
it looks
also
so
looks
good.
cool.
It looks so good.
Okay. Ultra Wings, Pilot Wings, but in VR.
A lot of VR
Again,
titles.
sounds
VR,
fun.
I can't believe they're still backing VR as hard as they are.
Sony's the one that actually is selling VR units.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good like
the
Black
price point.
Friday sales coming out. I might pick one up. Blood and Truth was like the first one we mentioned. It looks really cool. Looks really fun.
They released a slightly updated version of the VR hardware, but it didn't do anything to improve the tracking, which is the
No, that
right
we
now.
still need a better camera and we need better like hand controls. But for the point of like I played Resident Evil 7 like 75% of the way through VR, and I didn't have any issues with it. It was really fun, and it was a very enjoyable experience both in and out of VR. And I think that should be the benchmark for stuff. And it's like, was it perfect? No.
Yeah.
Was it fun? Yes.
I did not find that to be an enjoyable experience.
I have a Vive. It's a really hard argument for me to make to say, yeah, I should pick up PlayStation VR.
How often do you play your Vive? Not enough. I mean, when I play it, I'm like super happy, but it's the setting it up.
Yeah.
I'm hoping the wireless, if they would finally release it, the TPcast wireless adapter actually was on sale for pre-order briefly, and was supposed to come out 2 months ago, I think.
Interesting.
I think
And
yeah.
is gone again.
Did none of them ship?
They put
Or
it-
did some come
Gus
out?
pre-ordered a couple of them, and I don't think any of them shipped.
Interesting. That's
It's
really
all just a
weird.
cash grab bullshit scam.
I mean, people have it. It works. So many people have used it.
Nobody. We don't have it.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I assume
someone,
it's-
I think Eric Newtsetter, who used to work at Microsoft, had tweeted out saying that he got an email from Microsoft's, like the store, Microsoft store.
Yeah, the Microsoft Store was selling them,
but,
which is,
like-
again, super weird. Why the hell was Microsoft selling them?
They had it up, and then I guess they sent an email back saying like, hey, we're actually delaying the release of the TPcast. So there's no official release date for it yet.
So we keep waiting.
Wireless VR. That's why I like the PlayStation VR. It's a mostly seated experience, and it makes it a viable thing for pretty much everybody to use, rather than like the Vive or anything where you need that space and you need that room to actually.
There's seated experiences. For
No, it's just like, but like a lot of those really cool, like unique to the Vive experiences, like you need that extra space to do stuff.
You know, my
But-
favorite experience in VR is so far has been Elite Dangerous, where you
the
pop yourself in a
ship?
chair, get a HOTAS, and it's just like you feel like you're in space. I also had like an air conditioning unit blowing directly on me. I was like, ha ha ha.
When you did that the first time, you came into the office and you gushed about it, and you looked like a kid in a candy store. It's like, this was the coolest thing.
It is. I wish that game was a little more fun. I mean,
Yeah. There were some cool VR games announced at the PlayStation Experience, but most of them that I'm excited for aren't.
Yeah.
Yep.
really, the ones I'm excited for is Spelunky and
It's on here.
Yeah, I
We're
say, yeah,
getting
go
there.
for it.
Shadow of the Colossus remaster.
Yay! It's not even
play it.
it's not even a remaster. They rebuilt it from the ground up.
The trailer was completely uninteresting.
It was the
just a guy
intro.
walking
It was
around
an
a
intro
house.
of the game.
Okay.
That's what it was. It was the intro cutscene.
That's great for people that have nostalgia. For
Yes.
people that never played it, they're like, all right, great. I guess I'm just going to walk around on a horse for a while.
Yep, that's accurate. To
You
what
didn't
the
even
game
show a
is.
goddamn Colossus.
We are,
Or not.
You ever seen someone ride a horse
If
in
you
a video
did,
game
then
that
it
do?
was not.
You need to see the horse first, though. The horse is important.
I don't give a shit about the horse. I bet you they're going to try and make me love the horse, and then the horse is going to die. Yep, there it is. You do not have a poker face.
Not our tax.
Spider-Man.
That looks
Marvel
awesome.
Spider-Man looked good.
Still looking
Really
good.
cool. Hard to tell exactly what in there was gameplay, if there was any.
It's 100%.
There was-
in engine.
Yeah,
It was in-engine.
100% in-engine footage. I think there was a lot of the stuff where you're actually seeing Spider-Man like break through a wall, and you see like some button prompts in there. That's all gameplay.
in engine running on a PC dev kit.
They showed gameplay at E3. I mean, it looked awesome.
Looked fun.
I'm happy to see Miles Morales in a game.
Yeah.
Really nice. And the fact that you start with all of Spider-Man's powers from the get-go. There is no unlocking anything. You've been Spider-Man for a while. You have all his powers. You have all his abilities.
Wait, so
you don't have to wait.
You don't have any unlocks to get?
Nope. You're just Spider-Man from the get-go.
That's kind of a bummer.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had like unlocks.
Well, again, this game is focusing more on proficiency of being Spider-Man and
What's the progression then?
Yeah.
a story.
That's not good enough.
Maybe you can collect things. Costumes, how about that?
999
I love
webs.
costumes. What do we got?
Costumes. You can get all the costumes.
Can I put Spider-Man
The problem is, like in Tony
can't
Hawk,
back that up.
the pinnacle was getting the Spider-Man costume. You start with it in this game. What good is it?
You start with the Tony Hawk costume in Spider-Man. Why bother?
Yeah, it's the other way around. You got to earn Tony
Yeah,
Hawk.
you have to become Tony Hawk as Spider-Man.
Spelunky 2?
Yes.
Yes! Super excited. Game's so great. It's a fun roguelike game. And
Man,
have you not played the first
I
one?
really hope that game has online co-op rather than local, because man, is that fucking co-op really stupid and fun.
It's really good.
But I need it online.
Really stupid and fun.
Stupid and
it's
fun.
stupid fun.
It's so
that's-
stupid.
that's
Like
fair.
being able to like screw your friends over so easily is so bad. Like it's so tempting just to hit the whip button, right, and then go floop.
So
And you can
never play Spelunky with you. is
You
what I'm hearing.
should absolutely, if you haven't played Spelunky, you
check
should
it out.
absolutely try it. It's a game that I think you particularly will enjoy.
It is a roguelike,
Yes.
Okay.
but it is a fun like as well.
A stupid fun like.
Is that a genre?
A stupid fun like, yes.
Yeah.
There was also new trailers for Detroit Become Human and The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, that Last of Us trailer though.
With
Where's
no
the
reveal
game?
of the.
No Joel, no Ellie.
Nope.
They're not in the game.
Yes, they are.
Fucking shit.
Totally. that first trailer, you see Joel and Ellie that we got a while ago. Then this trailer, no Joel, no Ellie, no gameplay. We still don't understand what is that trailer was
The
so
trailer
ambiguous.
was violent.
it was
Very violent.
I mean, so was Detroit Become Human. It was basically like, oh look, here the kid's dead. It's like, what?
Both were
They went
intense.
straight to
Hey,
straight up murder
they
very
did
quickly.
Kid Death in the Dead Island trailer as well.
They did. But
Yeah,
it
but that
wasn't-
also wasn't in the game though. This was just like, look, the kid died. It's like, this isn't actually.
Well, if you
in the game,
also
or
look at
in
the previous
game.
game, like Heavy Rain, that was like a lot of really gruesome stuff in Heavy
I
Rain.
will say both of those trailers were pretty large departures from the previous one. I didn't get that was what Detroit Become Human was going to be
Well,
at all.
it's
from the
David
last
Cage,
one.
very like fractured storytelling type of stuff. I mean, you had that. It seems like that whole game is going back to more Heavy Rain and rather than
Bouncing
Beyond
between
Two
characters.
Souls,
Yeah.
which is Beyond Two Souls was. You have two characters, but they're always together. One is invisible and a ghost, and the other one is this girl, and it's telling their story, which I'm not going to get
Beyond Two
into
Souls
that.
did not get good reviews.
It was not fun.
Yeah.
It was not a fun game.
Yeah.
It seems like they're going back to the Heavy Rain style of like you have this very intimate story of this particular unit dealing with the domestic abuse and violence and stuff inside the house. But then there's
It'll
another.
probably feed into the larger narrative.
Right, and then you had the first trailer, which was you were a detective and a robot, and then there was the other one where it's like, hey, you're this other guy who's trying to, lead this rebellion of these androids.
I have hope for Detroit. It looks really cool.
I didn't like Heavy Rain whatsoever, and I was really disappointed because Indigo Prophecy was so amazing for me. And then I gave the benefit of the doubt and I played Beyond Two Souls, and I'm like, this is garbage.
I like the storyline of like, what does it mean to be human? Like machines.
I
do
think
they
it's a
have
really
souls?
interesting
That kind of
story,
thing.
but it's like, I'll just watch Blade Runner.
Just watch Blade Runner. dude.
I'll just watch Blade
Fuck,
Runner.
what a movie. That's supposed to be a 4-hour movie.
What?
Yeah, we're never going to see that version, they said. It was supposed to be a 4-hour, 2-part epic, but they cut it down to 3. And by 2 parts, I think they meant there was just going to be like an intermission. Because
Sort of like the Grindhouse films where it's like you watch one and then there's
Right.
a second one that's very loosely tied
I
to.
cannot say enough good things about that movie, but this is not a movie podcast.
Well, then let's talk about something related to that, sort of. The last thing we're going to talk about is explicit content and marketing.
Ooh, good segue.
That game looks wholesome.
I mean, we've kind of already talked about the edge of this, which is that in these trailers, we've seen people getting hanged. We've seen
That was a really fucked up trailer, dude.
The hammer.
It was.
People,
The hammer
I mean,
was so.
the hammer was rough, but like putting a noose around someone's neck and hanging them up is fucked up.
I feel like we've seen that so many times in movies, and because this wasn't actual gameplay or whatever this actually was, it was just like, okay, I've seen this a bunch, but it's like the fact that they sat down, they held this person down. It was 3 people holding this person down, and then one person took a hammer and then just brutally beat.
I feel like I've seen that in movies too. It was still rough to see.
I feel like that was a little bit
Saw
more.
movie came out on Friday.
I didn't watch that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm like super into those.
Exactly. Actually, yeah, that's an accurate representation. That's what it felt like watching that thing. Is like, because that scene in Misery was so brutal that, and it's like so dark. This trailer.
Okay, so I actually haven't played the first Last of Us. I hear it's
Oh,
a great game.
dude.
It's
What
fun.
the hell?
It's on my list. I have a long list.
Okay,
Backlogs
well,
are
here's
a
what you do.
terrible thing.
You throw away the rest of that list and you play The Last of Us right now.
It's a really good game, man.
Mario Odyssey though. But yeah, but if you look at I haven't played the first Last of Us, and watching that trailer, all it really looked like was just a lot of brutality.
There's absolutely nothing of Last of Us
Yes.
1
Yeah.
in this video.
Except
And that's what I'd heard.
You know, it looks real nice. It's a good.
It does
does
look
look
like a Naughty Dog game.
It looks very pretty, but all I saw in that was just like a lot of brutalization and blood.
Honestly, has like no representation of the first game in it whatsoever.
Well, to put that, so context is a huge thing. With Detroit becoming human, I could at least tell, oh, this looks cool. Like, I can kind of see the storyline going on here, so I understand why there's the brutality and why, you know, that robot dad.
This feels like a mid-game
shot.
cutscene.
Yes.
Like
it seems like they're just plucked something out of that was finished, and they're like, here, have this. And it's like, there's no context. There's none of the characters that you know. There's almost no real dialogue, and there's no explanation. It's just like, here's 2 people getting the shit beat out of them, and then a kid comes to save them. The end.
Someone at Naughty Dog was like, we need something to show at PlayStation Paris. I just
Exactly.
clipped in and out points, and I sent it. I have no
Here's
idea
what I
it
would
was.
say though, is the way that this trailer is set up. So you've got this whole intro, and then you set up the characters, and then they get to a point. Yeah, it's pretty messed up. It's she's about to get disemboweled, but she doesn't. It's okay. Spoiler.
She still gets cut,
Just
and
a
it's
little
just
stab. The end of this trailer leaves it at a spot where I could conceivably see the game clicking over into you start playing mode, though.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It really drops it to a point where you're like, and this is where I take over.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be that this is an introduction of characters that we may actually play.
Supposedly, the plot for The Last of Us 2 deals with a religious cult, which is kind of what is alluded to here.
Lots of cults going around these days.
Yeah.
Far Cry.
Outlast.
Yeah.
I know Sony came out and defended Naughty Dog on this decision, for how brutal the game was.
They defended both Naughty Dog and Detroit with it's like, hey, these are games for adults, made by adults for adults, and that's what this is. This is not a game that's like, oh, hey, here's your Fisher Price game console, and I'm gonna load The Last of Us.
Well, they even alluded to The Last of Us 2 being an adult-only game, like an 18+.
18 plus, yeah. But there was two quotes that basically says this might be an 18, which that's dangerous as far as releasing a game. It's like, can you? It's like
Because you can't buy it in stores then, right?
You believe that's true.
Certain stores may be able to carry it, but it would have to go through a lot of different hoops to jump through to get it in there. And if that's the case, and they probably won't do that, and they'll just release this as a digital-only game.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, in some ways, that's an interesting way to kind of undercut the second sale issue that a lot of game companies have been having. Is you make a game that they just can't sell in the first place, you're not losing money on the resale of it.
That's true.
I mean, I don't think Last of Us 2 is going to suffer from not having 15 and 16-year-olds unable to go to the store to buy it.
Not at all.
No, not even kind of. Not to mention there's 1.5 million ways to circumvent that anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
I mean, there's nothing stopping them from buying it digitally. There's a lot of people probably that will collect a physical disc, but it's really on the way out.
Yeah.
We've been saying that for years, and it still exists.
I've moved completely to digital. I still
The
don't buy
only
physical
console-
games
too
anymore.
convenient.
The only console it's unless there's a collector's thing that I particularly want, I usually buy digital, except for the Switch. I buy all that stuff with a physical cartridge because a lot of third-party developers, their Switch cartridge, the Switch size for the game for digital downloads, I don't know what their compression is, but Nintendo's able to fit these huge worlds and small downloads. But for whatever reason, FIFA is 400 million gigs,
Yeah,
and it's like
probably textures. They're just not bothering to.
And it's like, So it's
Dumb
like
it down for the Switch.
for the simple fact of just having all of them physical. Plus, it's like I have 2 Switches in my house. It's like I can buy one copy. It's like, here, you play this today, and I'll have this game, whatever.
Well, okay, we wandered off a bit though. Do you feel like using very explicit content is a good way for these companies to get a hook out there? I mean, you got to stand out somehow. Is this just currently the standout du jour is to make it super violent?
I think it depends on how it's going to be portrayed. You know, like we kind of just talked about, like with Last of Us 2, if there'd been some kind of hook on like, oh shit, Ellie's in trouble. It's Ellie, right?
Yes.
Like, so I know, like, I want to see what's
Context.
I want to see what's gonna happen next. Like, if they want to market it that way, then cool. Like, at least give me some reason to be invested in these characters, so I want to know what's gonna happen. Because I didn't even see gameplay in that trailer. It just looked like a very fancy rendered.
Well, they still haven't talked about a release date for the game either. It's like they're very ambiguous about it. It's like when they actually did the announcement for it in the first place, they were just like, The Last of Us Part 2. Now it's just The Last of Us 2. The original was The Last of Us Part 2 coming.
But if
and
you
this
look
is
at
still the same thing, where it's like there was no date, no gameplay, like you said, and there was no like actual context to anything. Versus something like Detroit Become Human, which you saw the gameplay, you saw the context. Is like, I don't necessarily like the context, and I probably won't play the game because I'm not particularly into what they're trying to pitch with that particular storyline. It's like that makes me a little uneasy. But at least that had something.
Well, on top of that, like Wolfenstein 2, like their trailer dropped. There was blood, there was gore, there was people
context,
dropping
though.
acid. But that storyline looks awesome. Like I'm really excited.
Fun so far, yeah. It's a lot of domestic abuse that I didn't expect to immediately. Well, it's domestic abuse season, I guess, here in video game land. And dog abuse. If you don't like seeing a dog abused,
Okay.
What? Oh no. I can't do that. I can't do animals.
There is a bizarre trend in media these days of like, it seems more so, or maybe I'm just becoming more sensitive to it. Seems like there's a lot more animals put in peril or hurt.
I can't do it.
It really bugs me.
look, they're trying to
intro-
find new ways to.
I went to watch The Mist, the new TV show. Intro to that scene is gruesome with the dog, and I was like,
What?
done.
Look, they're trying to find new ways. People are becoming increasingly desensitized to most forms of violence, and so they got to keep finding new ways to make it worse.
Yeah, I hate it.
The immediate way for me to tune out and stop is seeing an animal get tortured or anything like that. I watched ABCs of Death, and there's one of the little short movie films where they do something horrible to a kitten, and I'm like, I hate this movie. Movie's off. I can't do it.
But I mean, for marketing, like if you want to hook me, like shock value is not the way to do it. Like if you show me just a really gruesome trailer, animal or human or otherwise, like it's not necessarily going to get me interested in your game. It might generate like people talking about
Well,
it.
here's the thing. Last of Us, for Wolfenstein, are those not accurate representations of the mood of the world? I mean,
I feel like
have we not been maybe underplaying what the amount of violence in the game is in the trailers up to this point?
I feel like with Wolfenstein, they were very upfront about what the plot was. They like even the first trailers for was like, here's the setting, here's the main character, here's the concept, and here's what's going to be happening in it. With the 2 Last of Us trailers that we have Joel coming in, Ellie playing a guitar. Very simple, very quiet. And then we have this one, which is hyper violent.
Over the bodies of dead people.
Well, again, but it's like it's a very calm and like somber trailer. There's not a lot of action going on, and it seems more in the vein of like Ellie is grown, and now Joel is older, and it seems like Ellie might be the one like taking care of Joel now, and the roles have been reversed, and there's some sort of context there a little bit, but it's all very again ambiguous. And this one again. We have no main characters to latch onto. We have no like real plot of what's happening, just context clues, and they're again very ambiguous. And it's still no gameplay. So can you tell me with those 2 trailers, what is this game about? What do you care about, and what are you doing in it?
No,
I think that matters a little bit less when I feel like this is a trailer. First off, I don't care. Like if someone wants to make a gruesome trailer, whatever, I don't care. But if this trailer feels a lot like it's designed for people that already played The Last of Us, it's not like we're not trying to hook new people. I don't need to tell you what the game's about. I'm gonna watch it regardless and be like, okay, that was a gruesome trailer. I'll wait for the next trailer and I'm gonna buy the game regardless.
That trailer didn't hook me at all.
Maybe they may be intentionally trying to be obscure and not tell you shit because you don't really want to know anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think the arc that these two trailers have gone through so far. The first one, I felt like, shy of being calm, there was a very aggressive, threatening note to that trailer, where it felt like two people that are now committed to a path that is gonna get bad. I mean, aside from the fact that it has obvious signs of violence in it, it sounds like Ellie is in a place right now where she's ready to really make potentially awful things happen.
She's in that position that Joel was in the first game.
In some ways. Well, he was at the point in the first one where he just stopped caring.
Right, and she's in that position. I was just like, maybe it's world building in the sense of like maybe she's the conscience, and it's just like, is there a point to having the conscience anymore? I mean, the major threat in the first Last of Us game is like, yeah, there were the clickers and everything like that, but humans were terrifying. Humans were the real threat. It's like you can walk around the clickers and get the hell out of there, but humans were brutal, deadly, more aggressive, and would happily kill you for your backpack.
Well, that's very much what they've established with this one too. Is that it's still the story of human on human violence in a world that is also dangerous because of this other threat. To me, it feels like the setup of a Empire Strikes Back. This is the dark movie that may lead into a third movie where things are finally rectified. Anyway, we've wandered off once again from explicit content, Markin. I think in some ways it's maybe just more honest.
I think honestly what it comes down to is, and this is going to be kind of really obscure and people might not like the answer, but like, is it art? You know, we kind of talked about it earlier, like God of War like has sex scenes and whatnot, but it kind of more portrays to like who Kratos is as a character and like, you know, how that story is unfolding. Whereas if it's just like a, you know, gore fest, then there's no real like context behind it. And people can kind of ask like, you know, what's the art of it?
Yeah. I really wish there would have been just a little bit more context with it. And otherwise, it's like, I mean, it looked beautiful. The game is probably going to be just as dark and gritty, and you know, it's like very like introspective to the human psyche and like what people would become in that type of world. And I feel like that's, you know, it's like very true to, like you said, very true to what The Last of Us 1 was in the first place. But a little bit more context would have made me look at look at it more favorably. But I liked the trailer for Detroit Become Human. It's not a game I'm going to pick up because I didn't like the previous ones, and I don't like the subject matter for that particular what they showed. I'm like, that's not something I'd particularly like to play through. But because I've played The Last of Us 1, I know I'm going to buy The Last of Us 2 anyway, regardless of if I like this trailer or not.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's Glitch Please. We're back next week. Somebody will be here, probably. We don't know.
I won't be. Goodbye.
Bye, Adam.